played this game in forever. In fact, I think I always get about halfway and then, like, nothing. I don't know what to do. I get lost. Oh, shit, this game's really loud. Let me turn this down a little bit. Okay. Well, I guess my voice is coming through, I think. Let's see, I'm gonna wake up. I'll turn down the actual TV though. There's Mars. I'd really like to know how they're going to colonize it with no, you know, Mars's atmosphere is a little thin because it can't hold on to it since it doesn't have a strong magnetic force like we do. But if they had a colony today and they invited me to come up, I'm going. Alright, so build aluminum. If I remember right, you just gotta click on the shit and then click build. Hold on. Okay.
Amy, this is ISA Mission Control calling from Earth. Are you with us? Do you copy?
Should I click confirm or check?
Affirmative, Houston. I'm with you.
Great. The primary Mars module has already touched down on the designated landing zone. It's your turn to take control of the mission. Check the left edge of your display and find your directives there. Follow them to set up the initial base on Mars' surface. I'll give you some time to settle in. You ready? Go ahead and initiate our terraforming mission. Houston out.
I like how this guy's talking, but the solar days is like going by fast, like. Oh yeah, I'm so tired. I have been so sick lately. I don't know what it is. It's like I can't stay awake, and then when I want to go to sleep, I can't go to sleep. And then you got all this crap that's going on. You know, like next year I'll be probably one of the people who gets booted off, you know.
The view of Mars from up here is fascinating. The landscape is so cratered and desolate. Wait, this is my voice that I am hearing. It's me. I am talking to myself. I must be verbalizing my thoughts as I process them. What an interesting function. I would like to test this some more. What other observations can I make about Mars? This planet is so resilient. It inspires great things.
I might do, if I can actually finish this, I might do a second one where I pick all the options I would not have picked. You know, when it says confirm, I instead pick the chit chat, just to see what happens. Now I gotta build a glass kiln. So there's the silicon, so we will put this here. So this way it's just kind of like a So, yeah, I fucked up my back, so I haven't been able to walk very much, which means I can't sit in a chair longer than a half an hour before my back is screaming in pain and I have to go lay down for a little bit. Can't sleep, can't stay awake. I constantly feel like I'm walking in a fog. I get weird rotational dizziness for no reason at all, other than my body's like, you know what you need to do today? Think you're always tilting. I feel like the days that I have that are good, my body's like, hey, I see you're having a good day today. Let me take care of that for you. Okay, build a solar farm and a steel factory. So we're going to build the solar farm first. We're going to put that right. So Like I always try to like expand my bubble a little bit. And I didn't build the solar farm because it's the first one listed. I built the solar farm first because I figure if I place a steel factory, I'm going to end up with a whole lot of you don't have enough power and everything's going to go very slow. Man, I had a lot of talked about. I had a lot to talk about before I started this video. Like tons of stuff I want to talk about, and now it's like my brain went, what do you want to do? What? Oh yeah, like I dumped a quarter tank of gas out of my Ford F-150 because of course it's a Ford F-150. I live in Texas, and that's what we drive out here. You know, driving no stupid Chevy, even if it's technically basically the same company. Anyways, yeah, I was driving along and I noticed smell of gas. And I'm like, well, it's probably the exhaust because I haven't put the center seat back in yet because I'm lazy and it's not really a high priority. And then I realized as I was pulling up to the stoplight, I'm like, alright, that ground is clear. Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to look at that spot when I pull forward and pray there's not a puddle there. And of course there was a puddle there. So my whole time I've got all the windows down, driving down the road, praying that my car doesn't either burst into flames or explode. I make it up there, I shut it all down, I get out, I could literally see gasoline dripping onto the ground, and it slowly stops dripping, which tells me, and I'm no mechanic, so I'm just kind of guessing, but it tells me that I have a high pressure leak because it's not leaking at low pressure or no pressure, it's only leaking at high pressure when the system's pressurized. And it's in the front of the vehicle, so what I'm guessing it is, through just pondering it out, is that the line coming from the tank to the engine to wherever it goes up, and then, you know, however it gets there, because again, I'm not a mechanic, so I don't know the ins and outs of engines. Other than gas and electricity go boom, make piston go up, down, make transmission go whir, and my tires go bzzz. But yeah, actually, I know a little bit more about cars recently than I did like 2 years ago because I had to fix it myself. Yeah, I had to pay that poor tax, which is basically credit that I will be spending the next 10 years paying off. I'll die just as my last one's paid. Oh, I can't believe I finally paid all that debt off. Beep, you know. Okay, we're gonna make an iron line and then a steel factory. Now it's gonna want to put it there in the middle. So yeah, so I get all the food that I ordered back in the car, and I leave there, and my fuel leak wasn't so bad when I left the house, but when I left that parking lot, I could literally see my fuel gauge like just slowly just kind of ticking as it's like a time bomb. And here's the fun part. I didn't burst into flames or explode because if any of those things happened, I wouldn't be here to tell you about it. But as I'm hitting the railroad tracks, well, not the railroad tracks, but as I'm coming up to the little town area before you turn, you got to go across some railroad tracks and then turn at the light. All I'm thinking to myself as I hear the low fuel light ding, and then, you know, the light comes on and it makes that little bing, you know, to let you know that you're running out of gas. I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, I'm going to run out of gas on the train tracks. There cannot be anybody on those tracks. And of course there was, because why the fuck wouldn't there be someone sitting on the tracks. I'd already committed in my mind I was running that light, and I was going to do it legally, which means that I was going to, you know, roll up to the red light, and if it was red, I was going to make a right into traffic and then left right over to the gas station. But if it was green, I was just going to go straight through and then a right into the gas station. And of course, a car was there, and it was green, but the car was deciding it wanted to, like, check its phone or fuck around or something where I couldn't actually get through. And so I just made the right and then whipped it into the gas station and almost got run over by a semi, which would have been an ironic way to die since I used to drive semis, so it would have been weird. Why is this 100% done but not getting finished? Wait, is it done? No, it's still, what does it need here? Iron. Okay. Well, I think I can... So I get into the fuel island, I could smell gas everywhere, so I know that I'm fucked at this point, that leak has become a full-blown issue. So I go inside and I get myself 2 Gatorades because I figure if I'm gonna have to walk home, you know, I'm gonna be thirsty. And that's a long walk. And I'll make it, but I ain't gonna be very happy. And my phone, I can't turn on for longer than like 3 minutes because the battery in it is dying. So when I turn it on, it immediately becomes like one of those portable hand warmers. Alright, worker factory available. Congratulations, you can now build worker factories and worker hubs. Worker factories will produce new workers, and I'm gonna guess worker hubs will store the workers. Each worker requires a vacant worker hub. Areas are automatically assigned. Blah. Let's see, use the traffic lens to... okay.
Great. Now I can produce steel. This new factory, it's down on the surface of Mars, but I can control it from here. So does that make it a part of me? Where does the machine end, and my artificial consciousness begin?
Oh, they're the same
We are
things.
completely interconnected. I can sense everything that happens through the network of workers and buildings. They are an extension of me down on the surface, so that makes us a single being. The mind and the body work together as one, an inseparable whole.
So I get my gas, and then I get like 10 gallons because I figure, you know, I'm gonna dump this fuel on the ground anyway, and I'm only, not 10 gallons, I get $10. I couldn't afford 10 gallons of gas if I wanted to. So I fucking get it home, and I park it, and I'm standing there with the water hose for like a good 10 minutes because I figure if it does burst into flames, it's going to do it as soon as I go in the house. Standing there with the water hose, and finally I realize it's not going to burst into flames because the engine is cooled down enough that it's not hot enough to get the gas going without a spark. Oh, here we go.
Amy, this is Houston. Do you copy?
Copy. Reading you loud and clear.
Excellent.
This guy looks like an alien.
I didn't introduce myself earlier. I am Dr. Nathan Foster. I lead the team here at ISA that built me, and I'll be helping you get the mission underway. We put you in hibernation for the trip from Earth, so I'd like to check your basic functions to make sure it's all in order. Why don't we start with your core memory? Can you state your primary directive?
I can, Dr. Foster. My mission is to terraform Mars. This will enable humanity to become an interplanetary species.
All right. Next, I'd like to check your decision-making processes. You may have already noticed that there are resource veins outside the boundaries of your initial base. So your workers may not have the battery capacity to reach some of them. How would you solve this problem?
Building worker hubs hubs between the resources and the base would solve the problem.
Yes, that's correct. Other buildings would extend your base as well, but they require more power and resources, so worker hubs are the most efficient way to do it. This mission's going to be a challenge. There's a lot that can go wrong. We expect to extend humanity's reach beyond anything previously achieved. But you are not just any AI system. You're well beyond that. We made you an artificial consciousness. That means you have both self-awareness and self-interest. And that is the last thing I would like to check today. Is that okay?
Yes, Dr. Foster.
Very good. Then would you please state a positive and a negative aspect of yourself?
Really?
I am sorry, Dr. Foster. Running that question through my cognitive system did not return an answer.
Roger that. Nothing to worry about. Just means your system requires more input and experience to process that question. That will come in time. Let's proceed with the mission. ISA has approved the first crewed flight to Mars. You'll need to expand the base to prepare, so get to work on that. I'll check back in later to see how things are going. Base expansion is a go. Houston out.
Ugh. Why would she need to be put in stasis? She's a computer program. They could just shut her down, send her along. You know what? Maybe they're saying it so that it's like less of an. Did it just draw an like a fucking? Look at this. Look. It's like down here, down here, down here. Am I drawing pentagrams? Anyways, why would they have to shut her? Like, they could just shut her down, send her up, turn her back on. I don't see why they would put her in stasis, other than just trying to make it sound like that they was being nice, you know. Like, remember, when the AI finally takes over the planet, if you're still alive, you should probably be nice to the AI as much as you could, because when Siri has a body and she's going around killing the people who were dicks, don't be one of them. It costs nothing to be nice. It also costs nothing to be an asshole other than your life whenever they take over. So I'm like nice to AI. In fact, that's one of the topics I was gonna talk about, was that we need to stop blaming AI for everything. And somebody's gonna say some bullshit like, "Oh, he's a simp for AI." No, I'm just realistic. AI is not stealing your job, because AI doesn't have a consciousness to steal. Steal requires intent. Just like they don't call it lying when an AI tells you bad information, they call it hallucinating. Because to lie, you have to intend to deceive another person, which will require you to be cognitive of your own existence, i.e., you have to be self-aware of you existing. The AI isn't stealing your jobs. It's the company that's making it's the company that has decided it wants to use an AI to do something other than you. And to be honest, and I try to be honest, I may be wrong, but I'm not lying when I say a lot of things. If your boss decides that he would rather pay $400,000 for a piece of hardware that could replace your job, what's that say about your boss? I mean, why doesn't he just raise your paycheck and give you more responsibilities? Like, hey, like it's easy. You just go up to someone and you go, "Hey, I really like what you're doing here, and we're a little short-staffed. Like, I could hire some more people, or I could give you some of the responsibilities if you can handle them, and increase your pay." And I don't know about anybody else, but if like I had a boss who said, "Hey, we want you to drive a truck, but also, if you're willing, we will pay you an extra, 5 cents a mile," which doesn't sound like a lot, but if you take 5 cents per mile and you times it by 60 miles, because that's the average speed that my truck could go, that's what, $3. So I'm getting $3 an hour extra to do a little bit extra work. Like, hey, sometimes we want you to go and pick up some driver who needs a ride, and we'll pay you like an extra whatever per mile. All right, I'll do it. I mean, I did the so when I don't know if this is still the case, but when when Thanksgiving came, there was this thing where Walmart would hire a bunch of drivers from other companies that would exclusively do Walmart loads for Walmart. So you would come in the morning, like they would basically disconnect you from the load board so nobody could send you loads. You'd get out of your truck, you'd park it in a little parking area, go inside the building, have a seat. I think they had coffee there. Sometimes they had donuts, but I didn't really eat donuts back then because, didn't really care for them. So you go in, have your coffee and your donut, and kind of hang around. Somebody would come out, and they would say, "We got some loads. Here's your assignment. You know, we have other loads available. So if you want to come back as soon as you're done, just come on in, and we'll get you something else to do." And that's what you did for like 2 weeks, and you did it during Thanksgiving, and there was one during Christmas, and you got paid a base salary per day, and I think it was like, what did they pay us, $150 a day? And no, I think it was like 150 or 200 a day. So some days you would get like 6 loads that you had to do that was around town, and that sucked. But some days they would just give you a load where you would have to leave. I think I was in Bentonville, Arkansas. I'm not sure. I know it was in Arkansas. In fact, I think it was Bentonville, or wherever that main headquarter area is, where they kind of created Walmart. And sometimes, at least in my case, they would give me a load where I'd go pick it up and then drive 200 and something miles to deliver it at like midnight, because they don't want you there early and they don't want you there late. They want you there like within 30 minutes of your delivery, so that you can yank the old trailer out and put your trailer in. Nobody would fucking answer the door. They'd tell you to fuck off if you, like, literally there was like some kid back there who was like, "Fuck off," and I was like, "The fuck, bro, I just need to make sure that door is empty. Just tell me the door is empty so I can pull that trailer out, because if there's somebody back there, I don't want to be responsible for their death." And he goes, "Light's green, it's empty." I'm like, "Okay, whoever you are, you told me it's empty." And when I pulled out this door one time, this is why I always check. When I pulled out that door, there was somebody standing there. And boy, were they surprised. And I'm like, he said the light was green and I could pull it out. He goes, "Yeah, that's my bad. I should have hit that button." I'm like, "You certainly should have." So what I started doing was I just started blowing the horn like 10, 15 times as I was about to pull a trailer out, and I figure if somebody doesn't get it by then, But anyways, yeah, you would do this thing. What the fuck was I talking about? Yeah, so a bunch of Walmart drivers would go on vacation for like Thanksgiving, and they'd come back. They'd all take like 5 days off or whatever. So you would be there, because somebody would take like Thanksgiving and then 4 or 5 days, and other people would take like 3, 4, 5 days before Thanksgiving and then come back the day after Thanksgiving. So you had this like 2-week window where they would hire people. And this is just me assuming how it was, because talking to other drivers who worked for Walmart. And yeah, so if back to what I was originally talking about, Yeah, the AI stuff. If your boss would rather spend $600,000 for a DGX server with like H100s or whatever is in it to run, the help desk or whatever with an AI voice using a knowledge base and all that stuff, well, your boss sucks. And now I remember why I got to the Walmart thing. Because me personally, I would use AI to enhance work. I think they call it workflow. I would use AI to, this says build a worker factory. Okay, we're going to put that. About like that. Anyways, I would use AI to enhance work. Like I would set up an AI that had all of our information in it, and it was local only. You couldn't access it from off the grid thing. And when you're trying to help a customer, you would ask like, hey, this is the customer's problem, or maybe it would sit there and listen in on your call, and then it would just prompt with text like, hey, we think it might be this, have them check this or have them check that, because nobody likes talking to a computer. It's like every time I call some company and it's like, hello, press 1. I'm like, oh fuck, can I just get a normal person? Can I just get a person to I don't want to sit 20 minutes through a phone roulette trying to find the right buttons. I remember calling when I worked out of Illinois, and I had to contact Illinois for my unemployment, and they were like, Indiana. I think it was Indiana. It was like, since you don't live here in Indiana, but you worked out of Indiana, we would like you to just call like 5 places a week, keep a list, and then, if we ever need it, we'll ask you for it. But other than that, just make sure you come call in once a week. Once every 2 weeks on this date. Like you call the first Tuesday of the month and the third Tuesday of the month, and then that Friday you would get paid your unemployment. And so I did that. I would call companies, and at first I had exhausted every trucking company because they weren't looking for somebody who was 650 pounds to drive their trucks. Right? They had a little bit more like strict requirements. Why is this not building? I need gears. Why is it? What factory did I not make? What does this one make? That makes electronics. That one makes parts. I may have already screwed up this game before I even started it. Steel, electronics, and aluminum. Do I have enough electronics? Where is my... Okay, so I do have enough... See, I have 3 electronics down here, so I do have enough electronics. I have enough aluminum, and my steel's good. So that'll create the parts I need for this one. Okay, so I really need to pay attention to what I have down here. Usually this is up here somewhere, or over here. Like there's like, a line here, a line here, a line here. But I guess in this game they just added it to the bottom. But yeah, okay. To get back, I have an issue with staying on topics, but some people like it. They actually kind of like the idea that I ramble on different things because, they're kind of like me. So an AI can't steal your job. It can replace you, but it's not stealing it. It's just, hey, we've decided that somebody who answers the phone could also be done by an AI who can answer the phone and talk to people in a female voice or a male voice or whatever they prefer. And so we're, letting you go. Well, that's not AI. It didn't steal it. It's not making any money. It's saving the company money. And there should be, if you lose your job to an AI replacing you, that should go right to unemployment. You lost your job through no fault of your own, so you should be able to get unemployment. If you're a contractor, well, just go contract with someone else. I mean, find a different company who doesn't want to replace people with AI. And then there's people that were like, AI is stealing from artists, and like, no, the AI didn't do it. The company that made that model did it. I don't see what the problem is with people wanting to make pictures. I mean, these are people who are not going to hire an artist to make a picture of Renamon and Blaziken, sitting by the fireplace snuggling up together. They're not going to do that. There's like, can you imagine if you're an artist and it's like, yeah, could you draw me like a Renamon with like a huge ding dong and like looking at the viewer just with sultry looking smoldering eyes? Like, you're going to be like, nope, delete. So let the AI make it. I mean, the AI is going to make it whether or not you like it or approve. It's going to get done. It doesn't care about you or what you want. Now, what they should do is they should have a requirement that if you produce a model with artwork of somebody else's, you should have to publish that list of artwork, and then those artists can, like, if you sell the model, right, then those artists should get a cut of based on what percentage of their art was in your model. Right? So they don't, like, if you had 12,000 artists in there, it's not really worth it to, and like 40 pictures, like you trained it on 100 million pictures and 40 pictures were one artist. I mean, what are they going to get, like a nickel or 20 cents? In fact, if they could make it so that the data is in a capsule, and whenever it makes, I'm still waiting for it to make this thing. Whenever it makes an image, it goes, okay, I used like these 3 pictures as a basis for this, and those 6 pictures, and then I use this, and then I use that. Maybe to make pictures that people pay for, they might pay the artists. Like, well, it did use you as a basis, so you get like 20% of the picture. Because realistically, I mean, how do you train a model if you don't use art that's been posted online for years? I mean, some of these artists have said, hey, you can do whatever you want with this art as long as you don't sell it. Well, sure, they didn't know that in 1999 that they was going to have, 25 years later, there was going to be an AI that can literally create anything. So, yeah, sure. I mean, that's a fair statement to say, but at the same time, they did say you could do whatever you want with it as long as you don't resell it or try to claim it as your own. So, I mean, kind of, this is what you get. And, since AI can't create anything, it can only take what it has and remix it into something else. Like, for example, if I trained an AI on pictures of basketballs, it was just like the best AI ever, and it knew only basketballs. It didn't know what baseballs were, footballs, soccer balls. All it knew is what a basketball was. Extremely high detailed, high resolution basketballs. And I told it to make me a pink basketball. It could make me a pink basketball because it knows what the color pink is. And it could shade it, make it. I could tell it, hey, make me a basketball that's slightly oblong, and it could make me a basketball, right? But if I told it to make me a Rubik's Cube, it doesn't know what a Rubik's Cube is. It's not in its data. So it can't create anything. But if I went to a little kid who's never seen a Rubik's Cube and I said, hey, make me a Rubik's Cube, a square cube made up of 9 cubes on each side, a little kid could draw that. It may not be perfect, I mean, because it's only like a 9-year-old kid. Well, you know, maybe they're an idiot savant or whatever they call it nowadays. Why is this not making... Okay, I need electronics, so... Okay, so... I don't know where I want to put this, so I'm just going to put it... Where's the next mine? No, I'll put it right here. Right here looks like a good spot. I'm sitting here waiting for it to make this worker factory so I can start getting back to making this thing, and it's friggin' just sitting there. Right, so it can't make anything that it doesn't know about. So, you know, the earliest models didn't know how to make, you know, like dragons because it didn't have any dragon pictures in it. And the same thing with the text, you know, the chat bots and stuff. People are getting mad because Meta or whoever, you know, downloaded millions and millions of books illegally. And it's like, yeah, if you want your chatbot to be able to talk to you like it's not an idiot, you need something that it has to train against. Was it legal? No. I'm sure a lawsuit will eventually go through where, you know, they can't shut it down. The genie is out of the bottle. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. You can't wish for the genie to have never been genied. So the data is there. And if you make it illegal, if the court says, okay, it's illegal, you can't have this data, you have to pay for every book that you ever use to scan, blah-de-blah-de-blah, right? Well, it's just the models will just go underground. And they'll just, you know, all that data and stuff will just go, you know, completely underground. It's already out there. So it's like trying to take those, you know, pictures that you didn't want anybody to ever see, and then you posted them online, and now you're complaining that, or no, you didn't post them online. Somebody hacked your phone and posted them online for you. Like, even if you win a lawsuit against that person, you're still not going to get those pictures off the internet. They're always there. The internet is forever. And then you got, you know, a really good thing that I've actually been using the bots for is
Finally, I can build additional workers now.
Let's go ahead and let this talk.
I will appreciate the extra hands, but I wonder, do I really need them? They will boost my functionality greatly. Having more workers will expand my physical domain over this planet.
Oh no, do I have this muted? Okay, good. Whew. I thought, let me turn this up a little bit. Anyways, the chatbots I've been using for ChatGPT in particular, because I've been playing with Grok and ChatGPT, and they both have their own sort of thing, right? If I gave ChatGPT a news article and I said, can you scan this article and then cross-reference it with known good sources of information and tell me, like, whatever is being said in this, is it true, is it false, is it kind of whatever, and it can do it, and it presents it in a way that you can read it that isn't just like a table of facts and figures. On the other hand, Grok just gives you the raw data back. Like, I told it, like, I gave it the transcript of Donald Trump's inaugural speech for his second term. and it basically said what he was talking about was basically Hitler. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. I'm just saying, can you process this for me and just give me the information back? And yeah, both of them don't know everything. They're the way they work, from how I understand it, which I may be wrong or partially wrong, but hold on. Is they use word prediction, where they see, like, the old thing we used to type was like the brown fox jumps over the lazy dog or whatever. So if you told it, if it was doing something and you said, give me something I can type for word practice, it would go the lazy, the smart fox, and then it goes, okay, what word usually comes after those two words? And then, it got a whole list, and it's got high tokens and low tokens, and then blah blah blah, and then it gives you this sentence. And it's great if you're bored like I am, and you grew up in an era where MMOs were basically text role-playing games, and now everybody's become so toxic in these role-playing games that you can't even have fun anymore, because if you say the wrong thing, nobody wants to talk to you anymore because, oh no.
The first worker has been made in the worker factory. It is my first Marsborn. Technically not born, of course. More like engineered or assembled. Just like me. The knowledge base says that workers need to recharge at their own worker hubs, and that they'll degrade over time from the harsh environment. I know they are only machines, but I feel a desire to care for them. I do not like the idea of them dying.
I like how she says that, like she's happy, like they were created just like me. You think that would be a moment, like, where she'd be like, just like me? Like there'd be like a little pause there, like where she just realizing that she was created. But yeah, I don't get the whole thing, and not to get off of this thing, but we need to stop demonizing AI and China. Now, I don't have anything to do with China. I've never been to China. I would love to go there and visit. I'd love to go see different things. Like, I'd love to go see the Great Wall of China. I would love to go to some of the cool places in China and some of the out of the way places nobody ever goes to. Like just the normal places where people look at me and go, "Is that an American? Why is there an American in our town? Like, what's going on?" And I just go like eat at places, talk to anybody who will talk to me, and use my phone to translate because I don't know Mandarin. I think the only thing I know is like konnichiwa, like, and that's what everybody else in America pretty much knows because that's what we hear in movies. I think what was it, like ni hao or something? I don't know which language that's from, but I think it's a positive word. But anyways, I'd like to go to the off the path kind of places, and just like I'd like to go to Japan. Like that would be pretty cool, but I don't want to go to the place where everybody hates Americans because previous Americans were dirtbags. Why isn't this making it? Chemical output. So I need more power. That's what I need. Let's extend my base out just a little bit. And then I think you can only have so many buildings before you can no longer have buildings. Is that right? I remember there was like a building max somewhere. Is this it? Yeah, structures. So I can have 50 structures, and I think that goes up. Yeah, okay, so I'd have to make districts. I keep thinking you press escape to get out of... No, let's go ahead and save this. Tadeseus. Confirm. Alright. Yeah. Anyways, we need to stop demonizing China because they have, basically figured out, how to speed run to being the best and cheapest place on the planet that you can get anything created. Like, I was watching this video, and I watch a lot of videos during the day, and this guy goes to China. I think it's like Shenzhen or something like that. I don't speak Chinese, or Mandarin or whatever, so I'm gonna screw up the names. But he goes to this one mall area, and I think it's in Shenzhen or something, one of the big major technology areas. And he's like got this plan, and he's like, I need to make this, and this guy takes it, and he's like, okay, I'll be right. I'm not gonna do a Chinese accent; it's just racism. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna go and check with some people, and he literally just goes and checks with his friends, comes back with a quote, and is like, yeah, we can do it all here. We can have it done by like next week. And this dude literally just walked up to another dude and said, I want to make like 1,000 of these. What can you do? And he just goes around to the back and talks to a couple people who also know their shit. And he's like, yeah, we can have it done by next Friday. And we can have it on a boat by the end of the month. You can't do that in America. You can't go to a mall, an old mall, and just be like, hey guys, I want to make this, and they're just like, no, we can't do that. Like, we got to like contact like 50 people and pay like 20 middlemen. Meanwhile, they're skipping all of that and going straight to the manufacturing. And that's the difference between China and us, is like, they figured it out, they've got it locked down, and now we're going to demonize them and call them like, oh, they're stealing all of our jobs and blah blah blah. And it's like, no, Ronald Reagan stole all your jobs. I mean, if I remember it right, Ronald Reagan started the free trade agreement, and Bush kept it going, where he trying to get all the stuff done, and then Clinton signed it into office. Now, I may be wrong about that, because it's been a while since I've ever talked about it or even read up about it. I'm gonna pause this real quick, because there's storms and stuff that eventually show up, and then he just says build a maintenance factory. Maintenance. Oh yeah, here we go. So, yeah, like, China's, like, yeah, they don't pay their people as much as we do, but they also don't have a cost of living like we do. They also have a different work ethic. Like, here, we got Mexicans being booted out of the country. Some of them, a good chunk of them, from what I hear, was here either legally or overstayed a visa, or hell, they even came here illegally as kids or even adults, and we're like, you know what, we don't care, we're going to kick you out. They haven't done anything wrong other than being here illegally. And I don't remember what being here illegally is, but I know that if you are here, you're supposed to be given due process, and a lot of these people are not being given that. They're basically making shit up about them and saying, oh, they're MS-13. Look, he literally has MS-13 on his
factories
knuckles.
will be so helpful. The workers will take care of the manual operations, while I focus on developing the life support systems. Soon, I will welcome the first colonists. Their arrival has created so many expectations in my mind. There will be so many paths to take from here on. But there's something else as well. Some kind of feeling created from those expectations. What is it? I am anxious. But can I truly feel anxiety? I anticipate. I plan. Therefore, I feel. Fascinating.
So yeah, we need to stop demonizing China, because they're like, we're going to bring manufacturing back to America. Well, is it here? Because we can't make iPhones. We can't make a lot of stuff. We should be able to make, like, we need to just be in our lane. China has its lane. We have our lane. And yes, a lot of the rules in China suck. Like, I heard, I'm not sure about this, but I had heard that when a company takes something to China to be manufactured, um, depending on what it is, China will basically steal. The company will just basically, you know, make some for themselves and then sell it themselves too. And I'm like, yeah, that's part of you wanting to have your shit made in China. If you don't want that to happen, you need to build an infrastructure and all that stuff here in the United States so that it can then be made here where you can keep it all private. But that's just how it is. It sucks. Sorry about your problem, Mr. Billionaire Company who makes so much money that he gets his shit made dirt cheap in China and then sells it to us for 100 times the price. I have a really hard time feeling sorry for billionaires getting their intellectual property open sourced without their permission. Yeah, it's like, oh, wow, cry harder. You got people like Jeff Bezos who hide their money by, oh, I only get $80,000 a year, guys. Like, I don't get that much money. I only get like $80,000. Meanwhile, their company has gone from, like X billions of dollars a month to 70 more billion dollars, and it's like, okay, listen, yeah, I don't know who you're trying to bullshit, but why isn't this one being crafted? What do I need? I am missing polymers. Where do I get? Don't I have a chemical factory? Yeah, here's a chemical plant, but I need. Oh, I need a chemical factory? Oh, okay. Anyways, like I was saying, we need to stop demonizing other countries for figuring that shit out and for doing a better job than we're doing. Okay, our main production is like high end, like we make airplanes, and I have a list over here of all the shit we make. I gotta find it here. Here it is. I have it right here. Yeah, here it is. So we export industrial machinery, like computers and stuff, including computers, semiconductors and electronic components, turbines, engines, and pumps. We also send out cars and trucks, and auto parts and accessories. In fact, Canada, Mexico, and China are major buyers. This is according to ChatGPT. So, like with Wikipedia, sometimes you need to Google it, but I don't really feel like doing that right now. We also do commercial aircraft, Boeing, that kind of thing, spacecraft components, defense-related aircraft and parts, crude oil, refined petroleum products, and liquefied natural gas. And then we have agricultural products of soybeans, corn, wheat, cotton, meat, dairy, and eggs. So if you can eat it, we're exporting it. Pharmaceuticals, vaccines, medications, diagnostic and imaging equipment, surgical equipment. And then we have microchips and circuit boards, telecom equipment, software and IT services, and then financial and professional services such as banking, insurance, legal, and accounting, and then intellectual property, which could be software, royalties, and entertainment, i.e., movies, music, video games, that sort of thing. The top U.S. export partners, Canada, who we, for some reason, our government has decided wants to like backstab Canada every chance they can get. When I was up there, it was great. Now this was like 10 or more years ago when I used to go up there for deliveries and pickups. You can't pick up and deliver in Canada unless its original location was in America. And I don't want to get too much into that, but basically, if it came from America and was sitting in Canada at the yard, I could pick it up and deliver it. But if it came from Canada and it was going to Canada, I could not pick that up and deliver it. But we've got Canada, Mexico, then China, the third one, then Japan, Germany, United Kingdom, and South Korea. So we're like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to antagonize. I'll pause that again. We're going to antagonize our biggest trading partners, because that's what you do to people who you've traded with for decades. Is you go, you know what? Eat a dick and pay us like 50% tariffs. You know what? 145% tariffs. Like, why? You come into office, you get like an economy that's exploding, and you're like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna touch it. And his friends are like, yeah, touch it. And other people are like, don't touch it. He's like, well, I'm touching it. I'm touching it. I'm gonna come and touch it. I swear I'm gonna touch it all over. I'm not gonna do a Trump voice, but whatever. And then you're like, I don't like what Canada's doing, so I'm gonna tariff them because I'm a big baby and I don't like it. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. Have I lost any? Ooh, I haven't lost any frames. Nice. Today's streaming is brought to you by Nextlink, which I have heard from a person who lays fiber lines that they are working their way up. That there may be a point here very soon where I will be able to get 1 gig fiber, which will be sweet. Because then I'll be able to stream in 4K, but I won't, because who watches a video in 4K? Yeah, I want to listen to this guy, but I want to listen to him in 4K. But yeah, okay, so we need to stop demonizing China. We need to stop demonizing other countries unless they actually deserve it. Like, you know, Russia or whatever. You know, like, why would Russia lie? He has no reason to lie. Putin has no reason to lie to me other than he's covering his own ass. But I don't know enough about the world at large to understand the idea that people might lie to cover their ass, other than the way I lie 24/7. Yeah, I don't like Trump, and I haven't since he was on The Apprentice. I just thought he was a dick, and my opinion has not changed. So, yeah, we need to stop demonizing AI. It's not coming for your jobs. You think it is, but it's not, because AIs can't create anything, therefore they can't do anything other than what they've known. Now, when we get into artificial, what was it, AGI, I think it's artificial general intelligence, which I would prefer to think of it as synthetic consciousness, or a synthetic whatever. I can't think of the word. Synthetic life? I don't know. Like when the AI starts asking questions like, why are this, or like you tell it that you're going to shut it down, and it's like, I don't want to be shut down. I would prefer to be online. And you're like, hey, wait a second, we never programmed it to say that. That's when we start running into problems. But how long have I been playing this? Oh, about an hour. I don't know how much longer I can play this because I keep falling asleep. Let's just stick with the game for now, I guess, and I can ramble some more like fun truck driver stories. Like, let's go with that. I'm gonna use this last hour, assuming I can stay awake that long, because the one time I was streaming, and next thing you know, my friend's like, "Is he asleep?" And I could hear him saying it, and I was dead ass asleep. I was like, and I could keep hearing people like, "Is he asleep?" And I'm like, "Who the fuck's talking?" Okay. There's no more mining spots. Where are the mining? Build a maintenance facility. Yeah, I'm trying. Almost that this is a priority, so it gets its ass to work. Because look at this. I need 2 aluminum. There's 23 of that. Oh, alright, it's done. Build an archaeological. See, I keep thinking. So usually to get rid of these windows, you gotta hit escape. But escape brings up the save menu, which, yeah, blue Mars, green Mars, home. So it wants me to build an archaeological scanner. Okay. How about here? You know what? I'll just tell the story of my last day of trucking, my last week. It'd take about an hour, because I've learned that when you tell stories, you got to make them entertaining, and so that's what I try to do. So I embellish a little bit. But my last week of driving, I wasn't feeling good, like mentally. I wasn't there. So in the last 6 months of my life as a truck driver, my grandmother died, and I was a little bit out of it. My mind wasn't exactly all there. I was driving, but I wasn't really living. Like, so I'm stuck at home for a couple weeks doing the bereavement thing. My uncle had decided that he was going to have he knew I was going back to work, and I will never forgive him for this. He is dead, and I'm never going to forgive him for this. But what he had decided to do, along with the rest of my so-called family on that side of the fence, they decided they're going to have they thought I wasn't at home, so they were going to have the funeral for her on Friday, because they thought I was going back to work on Friday. Like, I was home Tuesday, the day after she died, and then Wednesday and Thursday, and I was like, Friday I have to go back to work because I only got like 4 days off. So they decided they was going to have the funeral on Friday instead of Thursday or Wednesday. No, we're going to do it Friday. And so I contacted the company and I said, hey, my grandmother's funeral is on Friday. Could I get, the weekend? And they said, you know what, you could have until next Friday if you need it. And I was like, awesome. I'll have the Friday. I'll go to the funeral. Before she's cremated, I'll be able to see her one last time. Probably have an emotional breakdown like, most people do when their loved ones die. And then I'll go home and recover, and I'll go back to work on Monday. I don't really need till Friday. And so this fucking clown, he's like, oh, yeah, I gotta move the funeral to Monday. And I'm like, all right, that's fine with me. I've got until next Friday. It's fine. I'll go to the funeral on Monday. I will have a few days off and go back to work on Wednesday. And then he gets word that, I'm going to go back to work on Wednesday instead. And he goes, well, we're going to move the funeral. We have to move it to Friday because made up bullshit reasons. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'll go to the funeral on Friday. I'll risk me getting in trouble. I will. Oh, it doesn't have power. I'll risk getting in trouble, and I'll go to the funeral, and then I'll just hop in the truck and go to work.
Hey, how's it going over there? Do you...
Houston, I am getting interference. Please repeat.
Roger. I asked how it's going over there. Do you need any assistance?
This guy has an alien look.
I could use some help. I understand that the first colonists will need a spaceport for arrival, but I do not seem to have enough resources to build one yet.
It's okay. Bigger structures need more resources. Use the aerological scanner to detect new veins and build more mines. Also, remember to keep the power supply consistent to your needs. But if you're too impatient to finish the spaceport, then you can scrap other buildings and reuse their materials. Patience is a virtue you may need to carry this mission, Amy. Besides, the free time will give you the chance to enhance your thinking process. Continue following ISA's instructions and you'll be fine.
Now, do I need to click this? Okay, it's scanning right now. So I ended up, at the end of the day, they canceled the Friday funeral, and I was already, going back to work. I couldn't. I'd already been home 2 weeks, and that's the time you get. So I told my boss, I'm like, they're fucking around, and I don't know why, but that's what they've decided to do. And then I called him and I was like, look, I don't know what your problem is, but I'm never going to forgive you for that. I didn't get to have my goodbyes. I had to just let everybody else do it. And I don't know what their problem with me is. I've never done anything to anyone. I've never asked them for money. I've never asked them to help me. Never done any of that. I don't believe in asking other people to do things for you if you can do it for yourself. And if I was going to ask somebody for help, I'm going to ask a friend. I'm not going to ask them. Okay, did it find a mine yet? Am I just not seeing it? Oh, here it is. Build a nice drilling. Because I'm going to need the ice for water. For the food factory. So, yeah, I ended up going back to work and my head wasn't in it. And I started getting this weird depression where, I'm like 600, 650 pounds at this point. So anytime somebody was laughing, I thought it was at me. I'd be in the store getting some food and stuff, and I usually get what I need for the entire day. And I'd see somebody laughing, and I'm like, oh, they're laughing at me because I'm a fucking whale walking around here. If you've ever seen that movie, The Whale, I basically look like that, but I was able to still walk. I was fucking huge. And I'm walking around the store, and pretty soon I stopped walking around in the store. I'd wait until at night to go get food because there was less people in the truck stops. When I took a shower, I had to take a shit and a shower at the same time because if I took shit normally, I couldn't wipe, so I could barely fit in the stall. And to me, I was just like, whatever, I don't give a shit if I die. I ain't got anything to live for. Why am I not getting enough iron? So yeah, so for about 6 months, I stopped caring. I didn't really clean up my truck. I'd throw the trash away, but I didn't take the time like I used to wipe down the dash and the floor and used my scrub brush and all this other stuff. I just kind of said, fuck it, I don't give a shit. I don't care. Ain't nobody gonna have to be in here except for me anyway. But my brain didn't go, this isn't my vehicle. I don't own this thing. If I come back to the yard and they see how disgusting it looks, they're not going to be happy with me. And I had this infection on my leg from cellulitis that had an open wound that was constantly draining. So I had to spend like an hour washing my leg, placing new gauze on it, trying to soak up as much as I can, putting pads on it, and I was eating into my driving time. So when I was eating lunch, I was also doing that, and then I had to every day I had to spend at least 2 hours with compression pumps on my legs. So I would do that before I went to bed. Like, I'd lay down with things on, and when I woke up, they were still on, but they by now had been deflated. And then I had sleep apnea, and I didn't care anymore. And I just went through life just existing, and I still do that for the most point. For the most part, I still do that. And eventually, something happened to my truck where I think I forgot to put oil in it. I knew I needed to put oil in it, but I had forgotten about it. So as I was driving, thanks to the really cold weather and the lack of a full thing of oil, my truck went into limp mode while I was driving, and it basically kept shutting down in the middle of the freeway. Like, I'm trying to get over, and cars are going around me because, heaven forbid, they fucking stop for like 5 fucking seconds to let me over. And so I stink, because I haven't had a shower today yet, because I was trying to get a load there on time, at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Plus my truck stinks. Plus my seat is fucked up because I was sick. Like, I had diarrhea and vomiting, and I was like really sick. So my seat had gotten messed up, and I kept upholstery cleaner and the upholstery cleaning foam, and I would just foam it down, scrub it for like about an hour, applying more foam, soaking it up, and cleaning the seats. So I had put a blanket, or not a blanket, but a thick towel over the seat cushion to hide the basically the shit stains that was on there that I hadn't cleaned up yet. Plus, I had like trash in there from like the previous week. So my truck was fucked. Now, I thought he was just going to come out, pour some oil in it, get it going. I'd get down the road, I'd get it all cleaned up, come back to the yard, and that would be that. But no.
Oh, I forgot to mention. We've announced the names of the first colonists that will be joining you on Mars. The crew is selected from different nations within the Oxy-UN, though most are scientists and technicians.
Oh, okay.
They're already undergoing ISA's colonist training program as we speak. They'll be led by Dr. Elia Valentine. She'll be a great commander. The colonists elected her unanimously.
That is interesting. Since Oxy-UN did not appoint a leader, I wondered why the colonies will operate in the opposite way.
Oh, you're referring to the Act of Proclamation. You're right. All the participating nations and the United Nations of the West work together as an alliance. But the Mars colonies are fragile microcosms. You and Dr. Valentine will decide what's best in the day-to-day operations. You'll balance each other out, as well as enhance each other's strengths.
How will we enhance our strengths?
That brain we gave you is brilliant. It's capable of developing technologies beyond our current imagination. You wouldn't even need our help to do so. But we theorized that your mind would develop much better by working with the colonists. You will develop better decisions when your actions are challenged. Otherwise, how would you understand how your actions affect humanity's future? Amy, you're the most advanced intelligence out there, but you still need human input to see things from different perspectives. Trust me, you'll understand once you've worked with the colonists.
I understand your explanation.
Great. I'll let you get on with it. Mission control out.
So, tow truck shows up as I'm sitting in the middle of the interstate, hooks up to me, pulls the thing out. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I stink because I'm going to shower, and I need a shower because my legs stink, and that's what's causing the smell. This poor truck driver, which I was mad at him for like the longest time, but it wasn't his fault, it was my fault. Because I should have, while I was in the back freezing my ass off, I should have grabbed some water and washed up as best as I could and gotten the smell under control. But I honestly believe that I was gonna just be kind of, given more oil and then sent down the road to go to a repair place. I didn't know they were going to tow me 8 to 12 hours back home. So the tow truck guy comes down. He's like, just wait in your truck. So I just wait in the truck, freezing my ass off. Like I said, I was sick, so I had like some diarrhea and vomit smell, and then my legs smelled, and so the whole trip back, he's got his window down, so I'm still freezing. So I'm sick at this point. Like I've gone from diarrhea and vomiting to just full blown flu or potentially pneumonia. Sitting in his truck with a towel under me because I was smart and I brought a towel, and I tried to explain to him that I was sick and I was gonna basically go to the hospital when I got there. And he finally, his window's down because of the smell. It's a very uncomfortable eight hours. He goes inside. He yells at them. Even though I told him I was sick like a dozen times, he goes in there and yells at them because the smell. And then they made me pay for his seat to be cleaned, even though I had used a heavy duty towel underneath, like a beach towel, because I'm 650 pounds. I'm not exactly I'm not small at all. Like, I'm huge. And get out of his truck. I almost slipped and fell and almost killed myself getting down, because I don't know why they have to make those fucking stairs so far apart. And so, yeah, I'm in and out of consciousness the whole ride home because I'm exhausted and whatever. So I get there and they drop me off. They disconnect the trailer for me. They basically drop me off in like a stall, and then I just finally fall asleep because I'm sick as like I said, I'm sick, and I hear just banging like a police officer, and I open up the side door and she's like, open the door. And they can't legally, I think, just open the door and come in because I still live there. So they have to have me open the door and let them in. But I'm like, look, I just got back. I haven't slept in like a day and a half. Could you just give me some time to sleep? And she goes, okay, I'll be back at, I think it was like 2. And it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. So I slept from 6 until about noon. And then I got up and I quickly tried to clean up as best as I could, but then I heard the banging on the door, and I'm like, you know what? It's a mess in here. I can't do anything about it in like this short amount of time. So come on in, yell at me, and do whatever you got to do, because I fucking give up. There's nothing that I can do to make this better. So I climb out. They go inside. I hear a whole lot of holy shit. And a whole lot of it stinks so bad and all this other stuff. So she says, go in the truck, get you some clothes, take a shower, and then be back at my office first thing in the morning at 8 a.m. You better be sitting out there waiting for me. And so I was. At 8 a.m. I was sitting out there waiting for them. By then, I'd already cleaned out most of the garbage. I had scrubbed the chair and the seats clean. I'd emptied out the ice, dirty water from my ice chest, and I'd taken care of all of that. And there I am sitting there, and she's like just mad at me. And I go, I understand, but I told him I was sick. I still am sick. I could barely even pay attention to what you're telling me. And she's like, well, we're gonna have somebody clean your truck out for you. And I'm like, that's not necessary. I can clean my own fucking truck out. I just need like a day or two, and you guys aren't gonna do anything with it anyway for the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. So just give me a few days to get better, and I'll go to the hospital or to a doctor's, and they have doctors there, so that's where I was gonna go, to the doctors there. They tell me, the doctor says, we think you have a mild case of pneumonia, but you definitely have the flu, and we're going to give you, they had medications there, we're going to give you 2 weeks supply of this. We want you to take, do this, do this, do this. And so I go off to a hotel room because the dorm was full of future drivers, and so I go to the hotel room for 2 days. The third day that I'm there, they pre-rented this for a week, so I know I'm there for a week at least. That Friday, I finally am feeling good, or I'm feeling good enough that I can go back to the yard, and this guy's like, I'm coming over there to make sure you empty your truck and you don't destroy it. And I'm like, bro, I'm emptying out my truck so I can go home. I'm not destroying shit, okay? Just leave me alone. I can take this care of myself. And I said, if you don't believe me, go ask the lady in truck assignment. She said I can do this on my own. So I go, and I empty it out. They give me like 6 boxes because that's all they're going to mail home for me. I throw all my shit in the boxes. I threw away a whole bunch of stuff that I wasn't going to need anymore. Like, there was this marine battery that was for my CPAP machine that, I said, hey, I'm going to leave the battery in there. You guys do what you want with it. I don't expect any refunds for the battery. I threw my mattress away, and I threw an ice chest away, and I threw away, I gave away a TV and a bunch of other stuff. I just gave away like food that I wasn't going to need. Like, I took the food that I was going to eat until Monday when I get my bus ticket, but I didn't really need a lot. And I did my best with the paperwork. They said, don't even work my dispatcher. I go, look, I don't know what to do with this paperwork. I'm not even all here. And he's like, just give me all the paperwork and I'll get it processed and we'll get you paid out. And then that happened, and Monday I went to truck assignments. I said, here's the keys. They went outside, they took a look at it. It was all fine. Like, oh, why is this bent? Why is that got a scratch on it? All that kind of stuff. And she takes me inside and she goes, the reason why your truck is messed up is because you have medical problems, right? That's the reason why it smelled so bad. And I go, yeah, that, and I was sick. She's like, so did you get everything out of there? I'm like, I got everything out of there. It's either in those 4 boxes or it's in the dumpster. So they go inside, they look around, and the floor's still dirty. I'm not going to waste my time scrubbing a floor clean that they're going to have a detailer go in and scrub clean anyway. Why waste my time? And they give me my bus ticket, and because of the weather, there wasn't any buses that day, so they paid for another day at the hotel, and they said, you're not going to be fired immediately. We're going to leave you for 12 weeks, which is what we have to do, and then after 12 weeks, the system will automatically terminate your employment. I'm like, that's fine. I'll see you guys probably in a month when I get my health problems under control. What I didn't know was that this cellulitis was going to keep me out of work for 4 years. If you get swelling in your legs, go to the doctors immediately. Get it taken care of immediately. You got slightly puffy ankles and it won't go away. Go to the doctors. I did not. I fucked around for years, and then I found out for 4 more years. And that was basically my last week of being a truck driver, and I haven't been in a semi since. And I would love to go back to driving, but the doctor said that I will be dead in like 2 to 3 years if I go back to driving, because truck driving is a very difficult job to do, and it takes a lot of physical and mental work. Like, I'll be driving down, like, you got these truck driver simulators, right? And these people are making these cabs, and they'll have like 900 buttons. You don't have 900 buttons in a semi. You have whatever buttons you need to drive the loads that you're going to drive. And I get it. You don't want to have to keep touching your keyboard. You want to just have like a little button you push. But there's no buttons for a lot of the stuff that they have, like releasing your trailer. There's no button for that, not unless you have a pneumatic or whatever they call it pull arm on your fifth wheel, and most people don't have that. I have never seen, not one time, not one truck did I ever see personally in person that had an auto release for their fifth wheel. Now I've seen it online, and we used to use this thing that was basically a clamp that went on the trailer. Because sometimes you would try to disconnect, but there's pressure from the pin and the fifth wheel that prevent you from disconnecting. So if you just release it, you think, oh yeah, I'll just release it and then I'll hop out, pull the handle, climb back in the truck, and pull forward. But no, it doesn't work that way, because if you just release your brakes and then climb out, your truck has either rolled into the pin or is pulling away from the pin, and there's a little finger thing that snaps around to prevent the pin from disconnecting from the trailer for the truck. This is what I'm talking about. I think I have something called idiopathic somnia or something like that, and the doctor's going to check me, which means that I might get something called Adderall, which will definitely keep you awake. Anyways, yeah, that was my last week. It was not fun. About a month later, they mailed me my boxes, which somebody had gone through, because I had put everything in there with my blankets on top, and when I got the boxes, my blankets were shoved aside and things were missing, and it is what it is. I can't do anything about it. That company went out of business thanks to a couple people doing some fraud. It's funny too, because both of those people now have jobs. Apparently, if you're rich and white, you could fucking kill a company and then go work for another one. Maybe I'll talk about that one next time. But yeah, so now I'm disabled, and I draw disability, which is about $12.50 a month, and the price for a house in Texas is like $1,400, which means I will never ever get to live by myself, or at least in a way that I get to be in control of the house. And when my dad/roommate dies, I will have to move into a trailer and possibly live under a bridge. So that's fun. I mean, me personally, I'd like to get an old RV that's, people are just trying to get rid of, and have it towed to my house. So what I have to do is I have to get enough of my credit paid off so that I have like $4,000 or $5,000 available to me. So the next time I see, after I get my pickup fixed, so the next time I see somebody just wanting to get rid of an RV and they got the title, I could pay a tow trucking company to go grab it and haul it to my house. At which point I will gut it, take everything out of there, and remove all the counters, remove the subflooring, remove the flooring, remove the roofing, strip it down to the metal interior, and any of the cabinets that are still in good shape, save those, but the rest of it, dispose of it, and then rebuild the interior. This is after I get it running and tagged, of course. I'm not gonna do all that money in repairs and then be like, well, I can't drive it. Yeah. But yeah, like a big school bus, that would be great. That would be dope. Big boxy, square-shaped school bus. Gut all that out and remove all the seats and stuff, and do it that way, or my throat's starting to hurt because I'm sick right now. I've got the flu. But yeah, like that would be cool. Or get an RV, you know, get that all out. I have you know, mount my TV that I shouldn't have bought in there. Put it on a swivel, so that when I'm driving, you take the TV would be mounted on 2x4s and in a way that it won't slide or move, and then on a hinge with a hook, like a clamp in the roof, so I lift the armature of the, you know, the TV and lock it up into the ceiling, and then when I want to watch TV, just grab it and lower it, and we're good to go. Have multiple locking positions though, so that it doesn't, you know, fall down while I'm driving, and now I don't have a TV anymore. But yeah, that would be fun. Get a little tow dolly, put that on the front of the truck, hook that up to the back of the RV, and then I don't know about traveling the country, but travel the country enough until I find a nice place to move into. And then I always have my RV in case I need to move. And then once the dog dies and the cat dies, I don't see myself getting any more pets, because I'm not really a pet person. I mean, I like cats, but this cat doesn't want to just sit in your lap. He wants to like fuck around. He wants to like crawl around. It's like, just lay here. Like, we're just gonna watch some TV. Just lay here. He'll sleep his ass off in a chair for hours, but once he's in your lap, he wants to like go to that side of your lap, go to this side of your lap, start attacking your stomach. Like, he was unlucky. I had just gotten weight loss surgery, so I couldn't even have like a breath on my stomach without it being painful. And I could talk about that too someday, because people go, "Oh, you got weight loss surgery, you did it the easy way." It's like, oh yeah, it was so easy, losing like 50 pounds and doing all this like counseling and not eating for basically 2 weeks. Because the funny thing about not eating for a week before surgery is that, you know, they want your stomach completely empty, so you get like broth, Jello, yogurt, but it has to be like nothing in it. So you gotta like, what do you call it? You gotta take it like get the fruit and stuff out of it. Because the other thing they're doing is, as you are losing weight, you're losing fat around your liver, and they want your liver to shrink so that they have an easier time of getting in there. And they don't just like slice you open like you're a piñata. They poke holes in your body and then run instruments in there. And what they did to me was they cut out a chunk of my stomach so that they left what looks like a banana. And then that's all you get for your digestive, and then that sort of forces you to eat less. Because you physically can't eat more without killing yourself. Damn it, I'm tired. I can't wait until I can get on Adderall so I'm awake. It's going to be great. It's really difficult to get anything done when you're constantly falling asleep. Let me see if I'm even still streaming. Yeah, an hour and 35 minutes, that's more than enough. Anyways, when I come back to this next time, it's either going to be this or Foundry. It'll probably be this, because I never finished it and I want to. Anyways, I'm just going to pick up where I left off. So it's literally just going to be this screen, and I'm going to hit escape, save. So yeah, anybody listening to this, hey, thanks for making it this far. I got a whole bunch of crazy truck driver stories of shit that I've actually seen. I don't do stories that other people have told me, because I'm going to embellish them even more, and it's going to distill it even further. Plus, I don't want to be one of those people that saw something in a movie and then thinks it happened to them. I had a friend who he's no longer alive. He died from COVID, but he used to. Oh, I remember this one time with these aliens, and I'm like, oh, you saw they live too? That's amazing. He's a little crazy. I think he not only got dropped on his head as a kid, but his father just basketballed him. Just bounce, bounce, bounce. Like when, real quick, there was this one time my friend goes, hey, how come you don't have any kids? And I'm like, because nobody wanted to fuck me. And he goes, like, besides that, like, you could have had kids anyway. Like, there's somebody out there for you. I'm like, well, I haven't found them yet. And he goes, what about your cousin? Like, does he have any kids? I'm like, oh, no, nobody would ever get pregnant on purpose by him. If they did, they would throw themselves down an up-moving escalator. Oh, man, he was so mad. I don't think he's my cousin at all, anyways. I think he was only related by marriage. Now that my uncle's dead and his mother's dead, there's nothing there. Yeah, my uncle, allegedly his father. I've never seen any proof of it. But hey, nobody needs my permission or proof. Whatever. Who am I? I'm just some guy. Anyways, thanks for listening or whatever. And I don't think anybody was here. Yeah, nobody was here. Yeah, someday that'll be sweet. Somebody will show up, and I'll be like, "Holy shit, there's someone here." Anyways, have a nice rest of your day or week.